First means first. That's the focus of tonight's angle. It's a promise that reshaped American politics.
I will share with you my plan for action for America. Our plan will put America first.
During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first.
Now, America First speaks to the demoralized and disaffected. Trump knew what Americans had done. They'd grown sick and tired of sellout politicians in both parties. The decades-long bipartisan collusion against the American people made America First the perfect pitch. It helped Trump beat the Clintons, the Obamas, the Bidens, the Bushes, Hollywood, the fake news media, the think tank crowd, the academic elites, and yeah, the foreign policy establishment. Because America First isn't complicated. It means America, her families, her people, and her workers come first. What happened in the House this week suggests that some Republicans still refuse to get it. In a closely watched vote, the House voted 224 to 204 to extend what's called temporary protected status to 350,000 Haitians, many of whom have been living here since the year 2010, after that horrible earthquake that devastated the island. But what should really burn you up, as my late mother would say, is that 10 Republicans and 1 independent who caucuses with them joined the Open Borders Democrats to pass this. Remember these names: Mike Lawler, Maria Salazar, of course, Don Bacon retiring, Brian Fitzpatrick, Carlos Jimenez, Nicole Maliotakis, Mario Diaz-Balart, Rich McCormick, Mike Turner, Mike Carey, and Kevin Kiley. Now, how do they justify this abdication? I have a hint for you. You're mean simply for asking. They claim that returning the immigrants to their home country, which the statute underneath clearly contemplates, is not compassionate.
It's sickening to think my Haitian friends and neighbors can be sent back there.
They enrolled in TPS so that they could pay taxes, support their families, and educate their children.
And that's always followed by the fake worker shortage argument. Now, listen closely when Congresswoman Maliotakis, those were Democrats before, describes her constituents.
I have a lot of healthcare workers in my district that are of Haitian descent that are on TPS, and my nursing homes, my healthcare facilities have said that they're going to lose skilled staff at a time when there is a shortage. The right thing to do for my district, for the healthcare facilities I represent, and if these individuals are here paying taxes, working, contributing to our economy, fulfilling a healthcare need, then their status should be extended.
Okay, first of all, those workers are not her constituents. They can't even vote. Second, the statute's protection relates to the conditions in the foreigner's home country, not supposed economic conditions here. And third, the worker shortage argument is false and it's insulting. And it's typical. You always hear it from the cheap labor lobby. More nursing homes are owned today by private equity than ever before. The convalescent homes, of course, they serve a really important purpose, but the more they cut costs, including labor costs, the more profits they rake in. So if you believe market economics, you would know that if there were truly a widespread labor shortage in these health sectors, the basic economic signal would be rising wages, because a true labor crunch means that more employers are competing for fewer spots, which then means that they would have to offer higher wages to get those fewer employees. Instead, here's what the actual pay looks like across many of these roles. Look at this. $29 an hour for licensed practical and licensed vocational nurses, only $16 an hour for home health aides, nursing assistants, orderlies, $18, $19 an hour. There have been some modest increases over the years for these jobs, but it's pretty brutal. And nothing close to what these numbers would look like if we were truly looking at a tight labor market. Now, the shortage looks a lot more like a reluctance on the part of corporate America to raise pay and invest in American workers. Pay higher wages, be mindful of job burnout conditions, and it's burnout in a lot of these sectors, and you will have a much bigger pool of native-born applicants. It's also important to remember that the program at the center of this debate, again, the Temporary Protected Status, or TPS, was created back in 1990 as a short-term humanitarian tool for extraordinary circumstances, such as another nation's armed conflict or true natural disasters. The DHS secretary has the authority to declare the countries eligible for this TPS relief, so El Salvador was the first country to benefit. But in practice, it's turned out to be de facto permanent amnesty. In the case of the Haitians, the TPS benefit has already been given, extended 3 times. It is a total scam at this point. And during that same period, the United States has provided billions in aid to help Haiti. So the obvious question becomes this: since TPS has been treated as permanent, why isn't it being debated as such? The TPS program itself has been a magnet for more migrants to come in hopes of future extensions. In 2021, the southern border saw a massive influx of migrants from many countries, including Haiti.
We got an exclusive boat ride out onto the Rio Grande today where we got to witness literally all day long a constant mass of migrants just streaming across the Rio Grande and entering the United States illegally. They just walk down from a neighborhood in Ciudad Acuña, Mexico. They walk across the dam in the Rio Grande. They end up on the shoreline of the United States. Some of them bathe in the water. They change their clothes.
That encampment grew to more than 15,000 people. And according to reporting, many had been living in other countries before making their way to the United States. So documents were found discarded, suggesting they were prepping for fake asylum claims. And within a few days, more than 12,000 were released into the United States. And then fast forward to today, and policymakers are voting to extend protections for many of these same people. Meanwhile, at a local level, a huge controversy is swirling about the benefits that are being doled out to migrants once they're here, including, apparently, gender transition surgery.
A lot of Latino here, so definitely some are migrants or undocumented.
I think, yeah. And me as a trans woman,
Yeah.
I feel safe.
Were you able to get the hormones or,
Yeah, I did that with my doctor.
Here in California, they gave you the breast implant here.
Yes.
Free.
Yeah. Even though you're undocumented, you can get them.
And in Boston, Mayor Wu takes woke to a whole new level with her $500 vouchers for things like massages, haircuts for migrants who identify as queer or trans. This as the city itself faces a significant budget shortfall. Now, zoom out, because TPS is just one piece of a much larger policy landscape. There's also sustained lobbying going on for other visa programs to expand, particularly in these supposedly high-skilled sectors. But overwhelmingly, when they say high-skilled, there really are no special skills involved, unless accepting 30% pay cuts from what American workers were paid qualifies as a skill.
You have a Senate primary going on right now. This is what I say about getting more involved. Every single one of you should ask those Senate candidates, what do you think about the H-1B visa? Would you co-sponsor the vice president, former senator's legislation to eliminate that program because it's basically just something that big tech companies take advantage of? These are the things that you guys have to do, because I can't keep these politicians honest by myself. I need your help.
In many high-tech sectors, the looming message to American workers is this: prepare to train your foreign replacement. This just happened to my very close high school friend. She's on the field hockey team with me. She texted me and said she just lost a consulting contract to an Indian national whom her company found through an Indian placement company. She said this will keep happening until eventually Americans just stop applying for these types of software consulting jobs altogether. So the question for lawmakers tonight, especially Republicans, is straightforward. Will policies that they enact into law actually address the interests of American workers, or will they address the demands of unscrupulous industries that want a new class of slaves to overwork and be underpaid? The answer will determine the fate of the midterms and beyond. Young workers are looking for a decent shot at a productive and happy future. Older voters, I think they just want things to calm down. The president has already been masterful at stopping the flood of asylees at the border. Now is not the time to undermine that progress with backdoor amnesties or visa expansions. The The principle, my friends, is simple. Temporary should mean temporary, and America first should mean Americans first. And that's The Angle.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.